going to take a look at Module 3, Lesson 5. This is the first consequences of the fundamental theory of similarity. So what we would like for you to be able to do by the end of this lesson is to apply that FTS to find the location of dilated points on a plane. And if we take a look at page 21 in exercise 1, we're just going to do number 1A together. If you look at that, it actually has two parallel lines. You have PQ and you also have P prime Q prime. And the question says, in the diagram below, points P and Q have been dilated from center O by a scale factor of R. We don't know what that is yet. And line PQ is parallel to P prime Q prime. And it also points out that PQ is equal to 5 and P prime Q prime is equal to 10. So the first thing that we really need to do is to find out exactly where our center O is. And in order to do that, you have to have a ruler, and we are going to line everything up. And you put those points together on the line, and we go straight through those 2 points. Now, we do the same thing for points Q and Q prime. Line it up. Follow along with the ruler. There we go. And the point where they intersect right here, there is our center O. Now, something else that we would like to do is, in order to solve for the scale factor, we need to determine our lengths. And if you remember our formula, prime equals scale factor times original, we need to find what all of those are. So in order to do so, what we do is measure it using centimeters. And if we measure from our origin, or from our center O until point P, that looks like that is about 3 centimeters. And then from O into P prime, it looks about 6 centimeters. And then we do the same thing with the other side with points OQ and Q prime. So that looks like 4 centimeters for OQ, and for OQ prime it looks like it's 8. Now we have all the measurements that we need, and what we're going to do is use our formula in order to solve for the scale factor. Now, we already know how to use all of our original and our primes and all that like we just found, but the way that we're going to find it today is with our line segments that they gave us in the beginning, PQ and P prime Q prime. So the way that we do that is set it up using our scale factor. We still have our original. Our original is P and Q, and we also have our P prime Q prime. That equals 10. So if I have my prime, 10 equals my scale factor times my original, it's going to look like 10 equals R times 5. Now, let me move this up so you can see whenever I finish. Now what we have to do is get R by itself, and in order to do that we have to divide by 5, because what's happening here, R times 5, the opposite of multiplication is division. That gets R by itself. And then what we do on one side of the equation, we have to do the same thing on the other. So we divide by 5 on the other side as well. Now, what happens over here is 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So those cancel out, and we are left with R equaling 10 over 5. And if we reduce that, our scale factor is 2. Now, jumping ahead, we're going to move on to exercise 3. This is on page 23 in your binder. And in this exercise, it says the diagram below, you are given center O and ray O A. And point A is dilated by a scale factor of R equaling 5/12. So use what we know about the FTS to find the location of point A. Now the thing about the FTS is we're going to have parallel lines that in effect become equivalent. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is take our point A and we need to find where our point B goes. And the way that we do that is to draw a line straight down from point A right on top of our x-axis. And whenever we do that, we land on 12. And so this is our point B. Okay, and now in order to find where our point A prime is, we can actually use point B in order to find where A prime is. And here's the easy way to do it. Now because point B is 12, what we can do is grab a calculator, if that helps you a little bit. Hopefully you can see this. And we're going to take that 12 that we found for point B, and we are going to multiply it times our scale factor of 5/12. So 12 times 5/12, and that equals 5. Now 5 tells us where B prime is. So we move on down to 5. Here is our B prime. And like I said, for point A to find point B, we have to draw that straight line because they have to be parallel lines. And whenever we draw that straight line all the way up to our ray OA, then that means that right where this ray intersects is going to be our point A prime. And it looks like that's about 3 1/3. So A prime is going to equal 3 1/3. That's a 2. 3 1/3. Now we would like for you to jump back to page 22 right now and answer exercise 2 on your own. You can use the example that we just did on page 23. And then after you answer page 22, exercise 2, move on to the problem set number 1 on page 24. That's the one that's shown right here. And also complete that one as well. Please make sure and have your notes in the binder as well as on a separate sheet of paper of anything else that you found important, and also any questions that you might have. Please bring those to class tomorrow. We're going to check everything out, make sure you have it. And again, if you have any other questions, please let us know. All right, you guys have a good night.